Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. New routes for passenger transportation are going to be launched in Kigali. The Africa Protected Areas Congress Conference comes to Kigali at a critical time for Africa's biodiversity. Explosion in Ghana town kills 17 and destroys hundreds of buildings. Ivory Coast stamped title holders Algeria 3-1, kicking them out of Africa Cup of Nations. Now, news in detail. New routes for passenger transportation are going to be launched in Kigali. As the city of Kigali continues to expand, residents are in dire need of transportation services. About 10 new routes for passenger transportation will open soon in Kigali city. Some of the routes to be opened are the following: Karuruma Gihongwe Rubingo, Rutunga Nyacyonga via Kajevuba, Nduba Nyacyonga via Gasanze, Miduha Nyanza, Remera Saint Joseph via Kabeza, Kimironka za Mubumbogo, Kabuga Mbandazi, Nyanza Nyarurenzi, Nyabugogo Kanogo Akarekare Cyumbati. Omari Sekamana, a resident of Nyamirambo who works in Gahanga sector in Kicukiro district, has been taking 3 buses to get to work, but with the opening of route Miduha Nyanza, he will be taking only 1 bus to reach his workplace. Unity Club has completed a school in Mukura sector in Huye district. The executive secretary of Unity Club, Regine Uwamaria, says they decided to build a school for Mukura sector because there was no other school nearby. And some children even drop out of school because of the long distance they have to travel to reach school. Mukura parents say that it has been difficult to monitor the education of their children because of the long distance they have to travel to reach the schools. Gicumbi district authorities have reminded residents that whoever has a problem reaching hospitals will be assisted. A resident of Gicumbi district says that after her child was injured, she took the child to a health center where she was referred to Kigali Teaching Hospital, but was given no ambulance to transport her and her child to Kigali, about 56 kilometers from her home area. She asked the district authorities to help, and they provided her with transportation. The executive secretary of Gicumbi district, Ndizihiwe Sidiak, said it's their duty to help the residents who need transportation to a hospital. Mayor of Gicumbi district, Nzabonima Emmanuel, says they'll give the residents all the help they can. The district has emergency vehicles for those who cannot afford transportation and in urgent conditions. The Africa Protected Areas Congress Conference comes to Kigali at a critical time for Africa's biodiversity. The Africa Protected Areas Congress Conference is going to be a turning point for the relationship between the global community and African institutions. The Africa Protected Areas Congress Conference is set to take place in Kigali from March 7th to 12th. It comes at a critical time when Africa needs more than $700 billion for biodiversity. The Ministry of Environment says it is expected to enhance the status of conservation in Africa. It is an opportunity to chart a path that balances economic growth with the conservation of Africa's natural capital. Now some items of international news. Sudan Military Council has agreed to appoint a prime minister as requested by the international community. The decision comes a few days after the United States, Norway, the United Kingdom, and the European Union called on the military in Sudan to appoint a civilian prime minister, one that would connect them with civilians. Eastern Africa continues to be the origin of most African refugees. A new report by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, has revealed that Eastern Africa continues to be the origin of most African refugees, with the region producing more than 5 million displaced people in 2020. The pandemic worsened the conditions of those living in crowded refugee camps and in remote areas far from government health facilities, with irregular migrants and asylum seekers being left out of many COVID-19 testing, treatment, and mitigation plans. They have faced a range of challenges, including poor or no access to testing and treatment, while at the same time experiencing difficulty adhering to physical and social distancing, making them particularly vulnerable to contracting COVID-19. Some countries, however, included migrants such as refugees and asylum seekers in their COVID-19 related health measures, including vaccinations. Explosion in Ghana town kills 17 and destroys hundreds of buildings. A vehicle carrying explosives used in mining collided with a motorcycle and blew up in a town in western Ghana, leaving at least 17 people dead and injuring others. Videos from the scene posted on social media on Thursday showed a large blast area in Apac, near the city of Bogoso, 300 kilometers west of the capital Accra, with dozens of buildings reduced to piles of wood, brick, and twisted metal. Ivory Coast's thumb title holders Algeria 3-1, kicking them out of Africa Cup of Nations. Reigning champions Algeria were kicked out of the Africa Cup of Nations after an abject 3-1 defeat against the Ivory Coast. As the group stage came to a conclusion on Thursday with Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, and tiny tournament debutantes, the Comoros, all securing places in the last 16. It is the fifth time in the last 6 Cups of Nations that the reigning champions have failed to make the AFCON knockout phase, but there has arguably never been a worse title defense. Algeria came to the tournament on an unbeaten run stretching back over 3 years, but they were held back by Sierra Leone in their opening match and then lost to Equatorial Guinea to suffer a first defeat in 36 games. Now the review of Rwanda Stock Exchange on 21st January 2022. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 262,000 Rwandan francs from 3,400 shares traded in 3 deals on the equities market, while the fixed income market remained quiet. As the share counters closed, Bradidgo closed the counter at 125 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 172,000 Rwandan francs from 1,400 shares traded in 2 deals. I&M Bank closed the counter at 45 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 90,000 Rwandan francs from 2,000 shares traded in 1 deal. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 180 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 250 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchuri Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, RH Buffalo at 526 Rwandan francs as the market close. This is the end of tonight's news. Have a very good evening.